I was just reading in the comments, someone was asking me if I ever used an Apogee Symphony interface. And the quick answer is no, I've never used one. But there's a longer backstory to that. I used to sell a ton of Apogee product, the 88,000s. They sold a bunch and bunch of those units. I mean, we'd had stacks and stacks of them at the store, and I had them flying out the door because they just sounded great. But there was a time when they made they made the 88,000 and then the Symphony, and it took a long time before they came out with the Symphony. And in between, they had some other products that it just wasn't selling too good. And I was kind of waiting for them to come out with a replacement for the 88,000. And it was taking a long time. And in the meantime, I had a really good relationship with Apogee. And at one point, they had asked me about creating a new product. They were basically going to do their own version of a UAD with plugins and that. And I thought that was a great idea. And they ran it by me, and I thought that was fantastic. So I was kind of almost involved on a different level with Apogee, and I always thought that was great. But at a certain point, they hired a new sales manager, and they came out with the Symphony, the first one. And I said, okay, I want to get involved with this. And they said, no, you can't be a dealer. I said, but I sold all this stuff. And he said, no, you haven't been selling like we would like you to be selling. So they had stuff that it wasn't selling. It just wasn't moving. And they said, no, we're going to hold another dealer network, and you're not included. And I said, but I'll buy into whatever you need. Nope, we don't want you. And it was basically that. They slammed the door in my face. They said, no, we don't want you. And I said, okay. So then didn't sell any Apogee, never got one in. And I really didn't have anything to do with them. And I think it was a year or so went by, and they got back in touch with me, and they found out that their whole way of doing business wasn't working for them. And they asked me if I'd like to get involved with the line. And at that point, I was pretty bitter. And I said, no, I don't really need it. I'm fine with what I'm doing. And then I created with Mike Tarsia, the Philadelphia recording community, which was a monthly get-together of recording studios in the Philadelphia area. And Mike would talk about the industry, and I would bring product lines to show. And every month we had at least 60 people there, sometimes even more. And Apogee heard about this, and actually we had some national write-ups. Mike did an interview, I did an interview about what we were doing, and it was kind of like a grassroots thing, and people were interested in that. But Apogee got in touch with me, and they had a new rep, and it was a girl, I forgot her name. But she was like, "Oh, George, it would be great if we could get our Apogee stuff in front of." And I said, "No, you guys treated me so badly. There's no point in me, bringing in a line to show it to all these clients." So I just told them no, and I left it at that. And to this day, I really don't sell Apogee at all. And I don't think I'm the only dealer they did that to. That they kind of shut the door and said, no, we're only going to sell through these other dealers. And it doesn't matter how much product you sold in the past. We're not doing anything anymore. And I thought that was a very bad business decision on their part. So when someone asked me, have you ever heard of this? Oh, I would love to have heard it. And I would love to have got my hands on it. But the politics in the background made it so I couldn't do anything. And it wasn't my fault. It just, they hired a new sales manager. And I don't even think he's there anymore. I think he did such a bad job, they let him go. But there's my long answer of, have you used an Apogee Symphony?